Okay, good afternoon, 1U1. This is my third recorded flipped classroom lesson for you. Okay, I understand that many of you did not manage to go on Ask and Learn and look at the previous lesson. And if you had attempted the quiz just now, you would realize that you do have a little bit of a problem to understand modals, okay, which was covered in Ask and Learn in the previous flipped classroom lesson that I asked you to do over the weekend. Since most of you did not manage to access, as and learn, and view the lesson, okay, I'm going to do a slight recap as well as an elaboration and explanation on the four ways of using modals. This is not all. Okay, there are many other ways, but first we'll cover these four ways because they are pretty easy to understand. Okay, modals are verbs as well, and let's see how are they verbs. Okay, do you remember lexical and auxiliary verbs? We covered them about 2 weeks ago before we started on modals. Okay, we mentioned that lexical verbs are main verbs and they have a meaning on their own, right? Things like jump, things like run, things like sleep. Okay, all these words have meaning on their own. How about auxiliary? Think when we had our auxiliary lesson, many of you were confused. Okay, all you need to know is auxiliary verbs are just helping verbs and they have to be used together with another verb to give a further meaning to that verb. For example, we have um what helping verb did we learn the previous time? We have has done. Okay, the word has is an auxiliary verb. We have is the word to be, okay, is doing her homework. Was eating his dinner. So was is in this way, it's used as an auxiliary verb. Okay, and I did mention, okay, there are two types of auxiliary verbs. Okay, the first one is the primary auxiliary verb. The second one, which I told you that I'm not going to cover then, okay, I'm going to cover now. It is the modal auxiliary verb. Okay, the word is modal, not model, not your catwalk and supermodel kind of model, but modal, Modal. Okay, and what exactly do they do? That's what we're going to learn today. Okay, they are auxiliary verbs as well. Okay, the second type. And whenever we use a modal, okay, we use it with the base form of the main verbs. Okay, what can we use it for? We can use it to make requests. We can use it to give advice to someone. We can use it to express possibility of something happening. Okay, and a lot other more. And today we're going to focus on four. Okay, why do people use modals? You must be wondering. I mean, can't I just use normal English and normal sentences that I write? Okay, people use modals because they have to sound courteous. They have to sound polite. In certain situations, like when you speak to Mrs. Yo, you will definitely try to sound as polite as possible. When you do your oral exams, okay, you will want to sound as polite as possible as well. Modal verbs help you express your feelings about what you're saying as well. Okay, and we are first going to explore four types. First, for permission. Okay, before you go to the toilet, you usually ask the teacher for permission to go. Second, prohibition, things that you cannot do. Third, obligation, things that you should do. And lastly, for this lesson, no obligation. Well, you can do, but it's not compulsory kind of thing. Okay, so let's look at permission first. Okay, for permission, the modal verb can, C-A-N, is often used to ask or to give permission. Let's look at the examples. Can I sit here? Okay, I'm asking for permission. You can use my car if you like. Okay, I'm giving permission. Can I make a suggestion? Okay, that's asking for permission again. Okay, so permission is pretty simple to understand. Okay, when you ask for permission, okay, you use the word can. There are, of course, many other words that you can use to ask for permission. Words like may I, words like should I. But, I mean, to simplify things first, okay, we are going to use the word can. Okay, we move on. Prohibition. What exactly is prohibition? To some of us, prohibition might be a very big word. Okay, it just simply means that something that is not allowed. Okay, we use two types of modal verbs to talk about prohibition. First, we say you can't do this, you can't do that, or you cannot for the long form, or mustn't do this, you mustn't do that, okay, or must not for the long form. Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, when I say you cannot do something, okay, basically you cannot do things that are against a certain set of rules or law. For example, you can't park here, okay, or things like you can wear PE shorts during PE, but you can't wear colorful sport shoes. Okay, things that you cannot do is against the rules. How about the other one? Must not. Okay, for things that is necessary that you should do, but that not necessarily there is a rule or a law for it. Okay, for example, you mustn't speak when the teacher is speaking. Okay, it's like because of politeness. You mustn't make so much noise in the library because you will disturb the other people reading books. So this is not so strong like can't or cannot, but it kind of has the same meaning as well, just that there might not be a rule or a law for it. So if you want to stop someone from doing things and you are very strong about it, okay, you'll go back to use cannot. If you want to advise someone, okay, maybe you shouldn't do this because like it will inconvenience other people, you will go to mustn't or must not. So that's prohibition, things that are not allowed. Next, we talk about obligation. Okay, so what exactly is an obligation? Okay, it is a course of action that someone is required to take, whether it's a to go with the law, legal, or it's just for moral sake because of values. Okay, not required to take, so not necessarily where not necessarily you have to, if you don't do it, you break a law. Okay, but obligation is that you are expected to do it. Okay, for example, we use have to and must to express obligation. Okay, if you look on the left, okay, when we use have to, okay, let me use a pen so it helps you better. Okay, when we use have to, okay, we talk about it is a law or a rule and the speaker can't change it. For example, John cannot join us. Okay, the example over here. John cannot join us because he has to work overtime. Okay, not subject verb agreement. This is have to. Okay, but because of he, okay, this is has. Okay, sorry, that's a digression. Okay, so John cannot join us because he has to work overtime. Now I'm the speaker. I'm telling my friends that John cannot join us. So can I change the fact that John cannot join us? No, because John has to work. Okay, I'm not his boss. I can't say, John, you don't have to work. So have to, okay, is something that the speaker cannot change. But when we use must, technically it's something that the speaker not say can change but can influence. For example, I will tell you, you must watch the entire flip classroom video or else, okay, you know what will happen to you. So I'm the speaker and I have control over what happens if the person doesn't do. Therefore, I use the word must. Okay, so for obligation, we use have to and we use must. Okay, next. Last one, no obligation. Okay, basically it's trying to say you can do that, but you don't have to. It's not compulsory. You won't die, you won't suffer any consequences if you don't do it. Okay, we usually use don't have to or do not have to express no obligation. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not colorful for this one. Okay, this is the long form, this is the short form. Okay, let me give you an example. You don't have to dress up for the party. Just wear something comfortable. Okay, even if you wear jeans and t-shirt to this party, nobody will look down on you because it's not compulsory. Okay, so it's for something that is not compulsory. You can choose to do it. You have a choice. Okay, so that's no obligation. Okay, in summary, we learned like 4 uses for modals. Okay, we talk about permission. I use the word can. We talked about prohibition. We use cannot or must not. We talked about obligation. You have to do something and you must do something. And lastly, we talk about no obligation. Okay, it's not compulsory. You do not have to do it. Okay, that said, okay, I hope that you can better understand the 4 uses for modals, at least these 4 uses. Okay, and please go on to complete the quiz in Ask and Learn. Okay, log on. You are on Ask and Learn if you are hearing this. So do the quiz. Okay, and after that you're done. Okay, thank you.